Well, yeah, but it's not like that useful of a skill, really.
Right.
It's like it's a party trick. I can do that.
Is it a party trick? Hey, Will, gather around. Will's about to palm this
I
basketball.
feel like if you were the first guy to do it in 1952, people went freaking nuts.
Mm,
Like the first time somebody palmed a basketball, it was like that kid flipping the water bottle. It was that level of reaction.
there you go. Will, it's time for our weekly dose this offseason for right guy or wrong guy for this program. I want to throw Jerry Stackhouse at Vanderbilt to you. They play a style that I think we're both going to say is conducive to winning in modern college basketball. The wins haven't come. Scottie Pippen Jr., really good player for them the last couple of years. Is he the right guy or the wrong guy for Vanderbilt?
I think I'm finally settling in that he is the wrong guy.
Okay.
And I don't really want to admit that because, I mean, more than the average person, I think I like Stackhouse and do want him to succeed. Part of this is like residual Pistons fandom, but
Mm,
more significantly, like you said, he plays a watchable style. They were a lot more committed on the defensive end this year. Like they were pretty tough to score on, frankly, when Tennessee played them. But I mean, we're at 3 years of data now in Stackhouse.
mm,
Some good has been done. You know, he took over an 0-18 SEC team, 155th in Ken Palm. 3 years later, they finished 64th, above 500 on the season, though not in the SEC for the first time in 5 years. You know, I mentioned the defense; they're pretty feisty. All of that is fine. The problem is that they had Scottie Pippen for all 3 of those years and produced a total of 13 SEC wins from it. And so you get into year 4 here, and Pippen is gone, Liam Robbins is gone, Rodney Chapman is gone, uh, and you're kind of left wondering, like, what exactly did all of that produce? You know, in Torvik's projections, you know, they're obviously could be wrong. I wouldn't be shocked if they are, but they got Vanderbilt 110th overall, 13th in the SEC. And if that comes close to happening, like that's a real bad place to be in year 4. And we kind of have this consistent discussion of like how easy is it really to win at Vanderbilt? Yes, they're located in Nashville, but yes, the academic restrictions are it's pretty tough to get in.
mm.
But Kevin Stallings did it. And Kevin Stallings did it for a long time. And prior to Stallings, there is a history of Vandy at least being solid at basketball. And so, I mean, we're now at the point where that most recent tournament bid is when, like, I believe a recruit this year would have been 12 or 13 the last time they made the tournament. So, and it's like, do you remember Vanderbilt losing in the first round of the NCAA tournament? Probably not. So, the last like signature moment they had, I mean, really is probably them winning the SEC tournament 10 years ago now. And so, you know, like, say all of that happens, they do get like 12th, 13th in the SEC. You're staring at a 4-year run where all 4 years you played on Wednesday in the SEC tournament. That's not worth keeping around to me. I need to see at least a toss up. Like, I need at least a top 10 SEC finish to sway me. Like, you gotta make it to, like, you gotta play your first game on Thursday to show real progress to me.
I just wonder because it's the recruiting's better. Stackhouse has connections. Like he was a really good NBA player for a long time. I think guys want you, like you said, with Stallings, they have one there. I wonder when you go back to like what happened with Bryce Drew when he was there, because I think we all were kind of in on Bryce Drew and thought that was going to go pretty well. That was a good fit, and then that doesn't go well, right? And then
Mhm.
you're like, okay, we're going to go not the college guy with the name recognition. We're just going to go get the NBA guy, and we're going to try and create the path back to contention in the SEC that way, where it's going to be like guys are going to want to play for Jerry Stackhouse because he can get them to the league, and maybe that will be the path. I just don't think that's working either. I think they need to just not find their own Clark Lee for basketball, but I do think it's just not going to work the way that I think Stackhouse wants this program to work. And I think it's just it's a smaller version of what's happening at Memphis a little bit, right? Where
Mhm.
Memphis, you look at Penny Hardaway, he's building another great staff. Like the staff this offseason, what he's made, the adjustments he's made there, like, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for optimism on paper and it just is not translating year over year. And you just wonder, it's like, would Penny just be a better NBA coach? Would Jerry Stackhouse be a better NBA coach? And I don't know. I wonder how much time we go down this road with Stackhouse at Vanderbilt. Because when you look at this upcoming year, I mean, are you optimistic that this is a 90, they're not a tournament team, I don't think, for sure. And I think they're probably another, like, they're going to be in the cellar in the SEC again next year. And the SEC is just too good now.
Yeah, I just don't see it with them. I mean, like, could they be, like kind of what they were last year and, finish like 10th or 11th in the SEC? I think that's possible. But again, we get into the discussion of like, I'm pretty sure it's gone 14th, 13th, 11th, and then 10th or 11th in this
Yeah.
scenario. Is that worth giving a fifth year? I don't really know. And this is all before, like, I mean, of the top three, like, consensus recruits he's recruited, because Pippen actually was not one.
Mm-hmm.
Of the top three recruits he's gotten, all three have transferred out. Dezzoni transferred to Temple. Dylan Daisu, who was not good, but whatever, transferred to Texas. And then Peyton Daniels transferred to Stephen F. Austin. So, I mean, those are the three, at least by the recruiting rankings, best recruits he's gotten, and none of them are still there after 2 years. So, I mean, is the recruiting really even better?
They're getting guys in, but they're not staying. And then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so what's going on? Why are they not staying? Because like we said, the style works. Like, this is a style that's conducive to winning. But what have you seen, like, mostly on the court, that you're just like, it just doesn't work right? What is the reason, the biggest reason for just on the court, what Stackhouse is running or the guys that he's playing? What just doesn't work for you?
I think prior to this year, it was just they were terrible defensively. There was no real commitment to the bit on D. Awful at rim protection, awful at forcing turnovers, awful at blocking shots. Didn't appear to be much of a plan. They did switch that up this past year, and I think it was like a fundamental change in defense. Like, they forced tougher threes. They're still bad at rim protection, but it was more tolerable. And then they were just more aggressive on the perimeter and forcing turnovers. But kind of the consistent theme the whole time is it's just like, I never watch, and correct me if I'm wrong, I never watch a Vanderbilt game and come away thinking I just watched a very disciplined basketball team. Because, I mean, all 3 years they've had turnover issues. They've struggled with giving up some like mind-numbing defensive rebounds, lots of fouling issues defensively. I never come away from generally speaking, I mean, like, yes, it was cool that they beat LSU this past season and then Alabama in the conference tournament. But like, on your average Vanderbilt game, I don't often come away thinking like that's a team that appears like to be, to have good chemistry, to want to work for each other, and to be like disciplined on a, possession by possession basis. It just seems like their minds wander a lot.
So we're out. How much longer do you think he has? If they are 10th, 11th in the SEC again next year, how much longer are we looking at here?
It's kind of interesting because so he has a 6-year contract, and I think they paid out Bryce Drew already. It was like a lump sum of, I don't know if it's a lump sum or what, but I believe they are finished paying with Bryce Drew, so they could afford the buyout. But it's kind of like, one, how much do they care when they've already just hired a new football coach? And like, yes, Vanderbilt football is nothing, but it's expensive. Like, playing SEC football is expensive. And it's also just like, could Stackhouse opt out on his own? If an NBA, if like a well-paying assistant job opened, or even a head coaching job, I don't feel like G League pays well. But if like one of those two things opened, Stackhouse probably is going to get a call. I mean, frankly, you just have less to deal with, and like, you don't have to recruit in the NBA. That's a positive. So, and you don't have to deal with academic restrictions at your NBA team of choice. So, I am going to go on record as saying I would be surprised if, come, let's say, 2024, he is still the Vanderbilt head coach. Something meaningful would have had to change. Either they have really taken the next step and they make the NCAA tournament at least once, or things have not changed and he's either fired or takes a different gig.
It should be interesting to see what happens here. But I'm with you. I don't think he's long for this job. Your favorite, though, Will Warren, CBS Sports had a good list on some new programs in new conferences. A lot of teams moving around in conference realignment's the name of the game. We got Murray State. We got Loyola Chicago.